Welcome back to another SitM Podcast episode, and I am your girl Tutu, and I'm bringing you guys the Artist Spotlight Edition, where I basically use this segment to platform all my creatives, all my artists, all my musicians, all my rappers, my singers. You could be a photographer because I have a photographer in the building. Y'all, you could be whatever. As long as you have a passion for whatever you do, I'm all here for it, and I'm definitely down for you to tell your story. So stay tuned, check us out. And if you guys are new, welcome to the family. Make sure that you guys subscribe to all of our social media platforms, SitM Podcast on everywhere. Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, head out that the bell notification, the little ding 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 ding. So make sure you check it out so you can see what type of videos we have as well. And check out our website. You know, I always got to check out our website, SitMpodcast.com, where you could get out all of our latest merch and see what type of guests we have going on. So I'm going to get right into this interview, y'all, because I've been trying to, I feel like I say this with all my guests, but I've really been trying to get this man on this podcast for the longest. So when he finally said he was down to do it, I was like, thank God. So I have a photographer in the building, y'all. I'm so pressed. And I have Eugene, also known as GetBoxed.
Yo.
What's up? Welcome to Stuck in the Middle. How you been? How you feeling? Happy Saturday. Couché, everybody.
Body fine. That's me crew well small.
It's
but
okay, it's fine.
We move.
We move.
Now I'm just happy to be here. I would like to thank the both of y'all for this beautiful platform.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting me on the Artist Spotlight. And it's just like, I'm just really excited. I know I'm low on energy right now because I'm constantly on the move. Okay, but I really appreciate y'all. So I'm going to really give you the energy that I got right now.
No problem. And thank you for also, being able to, I know you're busy. You got a lot, you was really, really busy. So thank you for even gracing us with your presence because it takes time. So thank you. All right. So we're going to get right into this interview. And I'm just gonna hit you with whatever, okay? Are you ready? Are you scared? Damn.
Nah, I'm not. Let's get it.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your work. Who is Eugene? Who is GetBoxed? What's it like? What do you do?
So pretty much as an artist, what I've noticed, when I first got into this platform and when I got into this form is when you have darker skin, there wasn't really a lot of photographers that were highlighting and actually photographing and documenting us well.
Right.
So coming from being a Sierra Leonean child in America, dealing with the African jokes in elementary school, all the way to where we're at right now today, I always knew in the back of my mind that I always wanted to highlight working from the darkest tones all the way up to the lightest tones because we were never highlighted the way I felt like we needed to be highlighted. So throughout my work, even from the very beginning, I've been very much so black dominant, and I've always focused on focusing on women because it's just as a man, as a black man, you need to be able to acknowledge the fact that a black woman already has so many things to deal with.
Right.
And as an artist, I've just always wanted to take care of that and just highlight that and make that known. That's my priority as an artist first and foremost.
That's so dope. I'm glad that you're highlighting that because like you said, especially us women, we do go through a lot and things like that. So the fact that you're showcasing that and that's what your main what you do, that's actually really dope. So shout out to you for that. I'm proud to you.
Yeah, man. And to add to that, it's watching music videos growing up, I was able to clearly see that they were putting the lighter spectrum in the front of the videos, and then it's just what I'm seeing right now is just black women, no matter shapes, nothing, you know what I mean, very, very beautiful, and it's just I've been able to acknowledge that from the beginning, so shout out to y'all.
Thank you. All right, so when did you start taking pictures and why? What made you? Did you just okay, I just like taking this
So the first time I ever picked up a camera was African parties growing up. They always gave me the disposable camera, Bobo, kanaya, take this picture. And
right.
I was always the one, I was even understanding composition at that time because it was very much so, even to this day, the one thing that like people will notice, or if you know me personally, if you have your phone in your hand while I'm taking a photo of you,
right,
I'll just be like, yeah, like hide that, tuck that. You have a napkin from wiping your sweat.
Yeah.
Yo, hide that, tuck that, because this is a memory that we're about to document right now. So I don't want anything that's gonna be in the way that's gonna obstruct like the whole thing. I'm very like particular when it comes to that. So
ooh,
at a young
I like
age,
that.
At a young age, that's what I was really like on. Like if your hair, something's wrong with your hair, I noticed that, I'm gonna say, do you mind? You know, women don't like their hair being touched.
Okay, wait. So to cut the hold on, because you just brought that up. So that could be okay. That's gonna be my next question. So what is a pet peeve of yours, like a photography pet peeve? Because you know sometimes you'll take pictures of somebody, and especially us women, right? Like first of all, my frontal is not laid, or my eyelash glue is like not holding on, something like that. So
we as photographers are not Photoshop wizards, okay? Make sure your wig is correct. It's 2021, please.
Yo, can y'all
There's enough YouTube videos out there. Please make sure your wig is correct, sis. Thank you. For real.
Yo,
I'm so serious.
So crazy though, because I be seeing it, and I be like on Twitter all the time, and the photographers be like, that'd be their main thing, and be like, bruh, I'm not fixing your edges for you, or I'm not fixing your eyelashes for you, or things like that.
Yeah, and then another thing too is like, I know we're very like body conscious, right? But I'm not snatching you up. I'm not doing it.
You not trying to give me a BBL?
No. No. Stop lying to the people. Like, embrace yourself, right? Embrace yourself.
Give me this BBL
and
360.
I promise you, the way I'm gonna light you, and the way that you have your makeup done properly and all of that stuff, you're gonna look phenomenal. You don't need the body warp.
Right.
We don't do that at GetBox. I'm sorry, we don't.
Okay, he said what he said, y'all, so y'all better come correct, because he's not fixing your edges for you. All right, so if you could commit any crime and get away with it, what would you do and why?
Dang, that's actually crazy. I was expecting this question. Shoot, if I can commit any crime, I feel like, dang, I wish this was like a superpower question, but if I could commit any crime, I'm trying to run it up. I'm not gonna say how. I'm not gonna say how. Okay. I'm not gonna say how. If I could run it up and take care of my people, and no one's gonna come after me, trust me.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with
that. There's a lot to be done. You know what I mean? And with that type of money, you'll be able to build a pretty good platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But slow grind, man.
Okay. Humble beginnings.
Slow grind.
What is your go-to photography gear? Like, what you got in your photography bag? Like, what camera you using? What you be wearing? Like, you be chill? You be dressed up?
No, man. I'm not a mirrorless guy, unfortunately. Shout out to everyone that has those Canon mirrorless bodies, all them expensive R5, R3, R this, R that. But me, I'm a Nikon guy, old school Nikon D4, heavy body, big forearms.
This so man.
That's me.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the times people get caught up in the gear, where it's just like they feel as if like the most expensive camera is going to give them the best quality. And don't get me wrong, that is the case. But when it comes to that, it's like, imagine if you have the fastest car, right? If you can't drive, what are you doing behind the wheel of a R8?
Right.
What are you doing behind the wheel of a LaFerrari? You know what I'm saying? That's so true. It's like, I've always started off this photography thing with like the most minimal gear. And like, even when I'm teaching like students, I'm telling them, hey, we're going to use one light. If you understand how to use one light, all right, cool. Now we can move to two lights and so forth, you know?
So you be teaching?
Yeah, low-key.
Hold on. This man is what? Come on now. How you can you teach me? Come try and learn.
If you're serious, we can do it.
You gonna charge me?
No.
For real?
No. We'll treat it as an internship.
Oh, yes. Okay. So, talking about that, talk about GetBox.
Yeah.
What is GetBox? Because I want a hat. I want some merch.
Right.
I want something, because I'm always representing for my people for one. So, talk about it. Tell us how that came about.
So shout out to my best friend Kwesi Boachi from Ghana. Shout out Ghana. Pretty much I was working for my dad. This is about 2014, you know, and I was on the phone with him just like every shift, and I was like, I want to come up with a new photography name, but I don't want to use the word photo. I don't want to use films.
Right.
I don't want to use visuals. I don't want to do any of that, you know. So pretty much a box is a frame, right? So it's like GetBox is like the action of me putting you into a frame. So that's like the whole definition behind it. So when it came to like the logo, I was literally working at a bar. Shout out Poolwood Gyms. You know, I'm gonna shout out all the black-owned establishments.
Come on now.
And pretty much it was one day. It was a really slow shift, and I was like, I need a new logo. This, that, and the third, and I want something that's timeless. So I literally drew it on paper, and now we have this logo. Shout out to Jada for designing this logo, by the way. I'm shouting everybody out today.
Okay,
man.
no, everybody put everybody
Designs
on.
by
Shout
Jada. Shout out to you. Thank you for this logo. But as far as what GetBoxed is, I wanted to actually develop into an agency where I can sign other artists that don't really understand the business side and understand, like, you know, the value of like usage fees and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, like, your photos are worth a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Your photos are worth a lot. I'm not going to mention the company that reached out to me, but they wanted to pay me for photos. They wanted to pay me about, let's say, $50 a photo, and they're looking for 20 photo sets. You know, so $1,000 for some photos, you would think in your mind, like, dang, that's cool for photos I've already taken. But then it's just like, if a company is seeing that, you already know that they're going to be making at least 10 times more money off of the fact that they're only going to pay you $1,000 for it. So these are the things that we have to watch out for as black artists, because money will look sweet, but then at the end of the day, like, once you sell these rights off, it's over, you know. So it's a conversation.
Yeah, because
that's
I'm hearing all this. I've never knew that. So it's like, I think there's so much behind, because when people think of photography or taking pictures, like, okay, somebody's just taking my picture and literally that's just what it is. But there's like so much behind photography. So when you're telling me all of this, I'm like, oh, that's actually really dope. And it is a conversation that definitely needs to be had. So I think you should definitely do it. Like, definitely continue doing what you're doing, because this is actually really dope. So
I appreciate that. No
problem. Let's talk about the DMV. Why'd you get quiet?
Hey, it can get spooky. It can get
spooky. So you were born and raised in Maryland?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how do you feel? Do you feel like it's hard to break into the photography scene, especially in this DMV?
I feel like it does take time for you to gain presence and to get acknowledged. I feel like a lot of information is being withheld as well. But realistically, it's for platforms like this, where it's like people can now like openly talk about these things. And I feel like there's a lot of discussions that still need to be had. But realistically, it's really bad. Like, there's people that, you know, they feel like they've gotten to where they needed to get to here. They go and they don't ever come back.
Yeah, that's true.
And my thing is, yes, travel. Even myself, I've been here all my life. I plan on doing the same thing. But if we don't come back and bring back the lessons we've learned and pour it into the community, it's always going to be the same thing. I feel like the DMV, a lot of people from all around the world get our sauce. They take our sauce and move with
that's
it.
True.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
People from Atlanta, they recognize it. People from California, they definitely recognize it. But because there's no like huge like DC Fashion Week is not taken as seriously as New York Fashion Week. You know what I mean? Like, you'll never see like a Dior like runway show in DC. You know what I mean? True. And I feel like until that happens, we're gonna like be in this box where it's like people are gonna feel like they have to leave the DMV in order to make a name for themselves.
Succeed,
and it's very crabs in the barrel, and it's sad because you have so many people, you have so much young talent, but it's like they're not gonna get acknowledged because there's people that just feel like, oh, this person can surpass me, so I'm just gonna keep my cards to myself and not spread this information.
Yep, that's how it is. That's definitely how it is. Are you planning to move out the DMV?
I want to travel.
Okay.
I do want to travel. I want to take like 2-week tours in different places. You know, haven't gone to Atlanta yet.
Really?
Haven't gone to Houston yet.
Like you never been?
No.
Oh.
So it's like I recognize where there's a tension for like a person like myself.
Right.
And, and I've actually been like contacted by like an agency in Atlanta. You know what I mean? So it's like I definitely want to make those connections and not ignore that. But at the end of the day, I want to go ahead and learn these things so I could bring this information back here.
That's dope.
Because I know where home is.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because a lot of people, like you said, they will start here and then they end up moving and taking their talents somewhere else, and then that's just it. But then, like, when something big happens in the DMV, everybody's like, oh, no, I'm from the DMV. Like, that's when all of a sudden they want to claim it. But then you was in the DMV, and then you left, and then now nothing.
But like, I don't blame these people because it's like there's a lot of platforms, right, that are using the word and, like, they're, like, pushing community, right?
Right.
But my thing is highlight everybody, That's
true.
Go underground. Actually do the research. Do your homework. And there's people that are from this area that have never been highlighted by these platforms. But I don't hold my tongue, I won't say names because I'm not trying to like start that type of like confrontation. But it's like, don't just highlight your friends. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, definitely don't highlight just your friends because we pick up on that. And now it's like when you come up with a yearly list and we don't see certain names, it's like, all right, did you really do your research or are you just highlighting your friends?
Yeah. And going back to that, like piggybacking off of the like highlighting your friends and stuff like that, support wise, do you feel like as if you get support in the DMV, especially being African or like even from the Sierra Leone community, do you feel like they support you in what you do and stuff like that? Because like sometimes you would do something and then they'll be like, oh yeah, this person from Sierra Leone or this person from so and so, and then they'll support, but then after all it's just because they hear that, oh, this person from Sierra Leone. So do you feel like as if like your business, your photography is supported by the Sierra Leone community and even just like the Africans in the community?
With my Sierra Leoneans, like just like I said, I'm not gonna hold my tongue. When it comes to us, we're very big on supporting other people outside
rather than
of our country.
Yep.
But like it's a two-headed sword, right? Because two-headed snake, sorry. But like when you look at it, it's like as Sierra Leonean vendors, we have to do a better job of our professionalism.
That's true.
We have to do a better job of being punctual. We have to do a better job of communicating because at the end of the day, we can't just say, oh, mina ibadi, we can't have that because like when money is on the table and stuff like that, we're actually trying to like support.
Right.
You can't play that like family game because if it's a Ghanaian guy, a Nigerian guy, or even a white person or a Hispanic person, like you're going to take that person a lot more seriously initially than someone that's from your same country.
Right.
So that's why a lot of the times it's not even because like I'm trying to fix my Creole. I literally won't speak Creole to you because at the end of the day, I want there to still be that like form of respect that, when we get there, we get there.
Right.
But initially, you're not gonna come talk business with me and then speak Creole with me and think that you're gonna get this auntie and uncle and cousin discount.
Facts.
You don't even know my mother's name, and you're expecting all of this. Like, we need to let go of that entitlement. And shout out Forward Fry Soup because we have a lot. Hey, listen, that's my boy. That's my boy. That's my boy.
This man came on here with Uncle AM and they was cutting up.
No, I know.
Cutting up.
I know. But as far as other African countries, and to like go back and answer your question, I do feel like people definitely carry like the GetBox name high. So like shout out to all my African people. Like shout out Nikki and Troy, All Things on Car. Shout out like all those people, Shout out this podcast.
Thank you.
As well. I definitely got a lot of support from the African community. Like,
that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to them. So Nikki and Troy, shout out to them.
Yeah. Those are my OGs.
What elements make a good photo? Like, what do you feel needs to have a bomb ass photo?
Texture. No one wants to look like a boiled egg. No one wants to look like a boiled egg in the edit.
It's the boiled egg for me.
Nah, seriously, man. Seriously. The color science that you use, I feel like the attention to detail on the color, that's very important, because I've seen photos of people, you know, and they've done Vibes Cartel to themselves. They're doing bleachy to themselves. You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily feel like people need to do that. You know, at the end of the day, I can't speak for no one.
Yeah.
But color, texture, composition, and developing like some sort of mood and expression.
Okay.
You know, if someone has a blank face, you know, I'm gonna look at their eyes. The first thing I notice in the photo is their eyes.
Okay.
So it's like, if you can't even get the eyes in focus, it's an issue. It's a huge issue. Lighting as well. You know, I feel like when it comes to lighting, especially the way I like to try to light and replicate natural light.
Okay.
You know, so if I'm in studio, I do overhead. I have a light on the side to try to like replicate like a window.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or if I'm in a studio, shout out Baltimore Studios, because they have, Baltimore has a lot of gems. Give Baltimore a chance.
I was literally about to ask. Okay,
Give Baltimore a chance. But like, they have those floor to ceiling windows, and you just get like really, really like nice light and crisp light. And I feel like just from bouncing that light back from the window, that's like a setup right there.
Right.
That I just go with.
So all those that you just stated, is that your like aesthetic style? Is that how you
that's
do
that's
your
my
shoots?
That's my thought process as far as
Yeah,
like before I take a photo. Those are all elements I'm thinking about.
Okay.
You know, but the last part, as far as like natural light and doing that, that's like my take on like how I would prefer to shoot.
Okay.
All the time. Yeah.
How do you feel like your photography is helping bridge the gap in the diaspora? What do you think GetBox is doing?
Just the fact that I have the willingness to like sit down with other artists that are from the diaspora, and I'm willing to like just give advice. You know, I'm not asking for anything in return.
Right.
It's just listen to what I'm saying and apply it to what you're doing. That's the biggest respect that you can give me. Right. Because it's like, don't have me talking for no reason.
Facts.
You know?
Facts.
Don't have me talking for no reason, because it's crazy. I feel like what I'm adding into it is, because I'm so adamant on highlighting black people, I don't feel like the dollar will ever cause me to get whitewashed, ever. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I haven't taken my trip to Salon yet.
You need to go.
I plan on creating a photo book. I plan on also having a photography class for youth out there too.
Oh, that's what's up.
You know, it's gonna take some time. I have to get accepted by those people. I can't just come in.
Just go in, like, right. Hey. Hey, I'm here.
I can't do that.
So what's up?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's okay.
I have a lot of big plans.
Oh, that's what's up. Okay. What 3 companies or brands would you like to shoot for, or who would you like to shoot? So you can give me the companies and you can give me the people if you want.
With companies or 3,
It could be like big time people. It could be local people. It could be like whoever.
I want to do some publications and some editorials for Essence. I want to do Essence. I want to focus and go on tour with like a huge Afrobeat artist. You know, there's a lot of options. You know what I mean? But like, if I could work with a Thames, a Burna Boy, like,
I'm okay. Cause first of all, hold on,
crazy.
Cause you shot Burna Boy. You have cause you shot Burna Boy, Jadena, Manny Wells.
Yeah, shout out Manny.
Yeah, shout out to Manny because he was on here too.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's her name? Like, her name's like O Slick or something like that.
O Slice.
O Slice. There you go. Yeah.
Shout
so
out
you
Ope.
like, okay, so what's up with that? Because you just named, like, you want to work with Burna Boy and stuff like that, but...
I feel like right now, and I don't want to say that this is what gets people on, but unfortunately, you do get defined with your work depending on who you photograph, who your subjects are. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of at a point now where there's still artists to highlight, which I'm doing right now.
Right.
But I don't feel like I'm going to shake the room the way I want to shake the room until I get that one person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, it also happened when it came to the wedding I shot, you know, with Jesse and Mo. Shout out to them because they were the first couple to actually give me that chance.
'Cause I was about to ask.
You know, that, like, first couple that everyone knows. You know, I wouldn't say first couple to give me a chance, but, like, that's the first, like, time where it's, like, a couple that's, like, in that limelight, you know. I got a chance to do that, and, you know, I killed it, and the rest is history.
That man said, I killed it. Like, this man's confidence.
Crazy.
He knew he killed it. No, but you really bought it.
It shows.
I was about to ask, what is your, like, favorite shoot to up to date, or, like, what was that one picture that was, like, viral, like, mind blown? Like, you literally went to sleep, and the next morning, everybody was like, bruh, that shit was fire.
No, it was their photo.
Yeah, it was
their photo.
really, really dope.
It was definitely their photo, because even from the 70s concept,
yeah, I saw that.
You know, that was their idea. A lot happened that day. Like, they'll tell you a lot happened that day, to a point where the first location actually kicked us out. Sheesh. Because they thought that, you know, the camera crew that was there to, like, snitch on their cleanliness.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with, like, 70s themed stuff, you want to go for, like, that moto-esque look.
Yeah.
You know, so I had to think quick on my feet, and I was able to find a location for them, and that location worked out. Yeah, that location worked out.
Because them things is fire.
That location worked out a lot better than the original location. You know what I mean?
That's what. Nah, I like that. I think all your pictures honestly are fire, but that definitely the wedding and stuff like that, because that was like, dang, like, this man is really doing. That's something
that they're gonna remember forever. This is what they're gonna show their kids.
Right.
So it's no game. It's no joke. So it's like I literally have to look at them, have the conversation with them, and know that they're trusting me with this. You know,
this man said y'all gonna put some respect on his name, and that's just that. All right, so your work infuses, like, traditional African culture, just like you saying, like, black women, like, black culture and stuff like that. What do you feel like being a Sierra Leonean has inspired you to, you know, like, do what you do? Like, that's the inspiration for you. What's the inspiration? Because culture could play a huge factor in it.
Yeah, honestly. Even, like, to go back and, like, to, like, really dig into that question that you asked, it's very inspirational, because we really love to enjoy ourselves, right? Sierra Leoneans, we know how to party, we know how to turn up.
I be trying to tell you we best in the West, but nobody want to listen to me.
You know it's not a lie. You know it's not a lie.
Reflex, like, look alike.
Zoom in when you do this. I want you to zoom in on this, right? It's not a lie. 232 is up.
Come on.
Come on. Right. But to, like, go into that, I get a lot of inspiration from my Sierra Leoneans. Shout out to all my Sierra Leonean creatives. You know, I'm going to come on here and shout out my boy Shek. You know, I'm going to shout out my boy Rodney. You know, I'm going to shout out Cuzzo, Edna. You know, I'm going to shout out Binta, Naya, Soraya. All my Sierra Leonean people that truly inspire me. And to, like, go into that, I actually started to pick up on something brand new, which was emceeing, you know? And from emceeing, I kind of want to inch my way into, like, producing. And, like, with that, I'm listening to old SoundLone records.
Right.
Oh, yeah, shout out to Lake, and shout out to my boy Ed as well, like, both Sierra Leonean artists as well. And it's like, I feel like we need to be able to find, like, a SoundLone sound, because it's there, but it just needs to be refreshed.
I've been saying this for the long, okay? Because
it needs to be refreshed.
I don't know what's happening. like I literally went when Fuad and Uncle M came in here,
right,
and we played a game, and I literally was like, top SoundLone songs.
Oh shit.
And I was like, we ain't got no if I was like, what do you mean? I'm like, literally, like, we don't have no music, because I feel like the sound is totally different. Like, I'm not gonna hold you. The music, some music that we have is like kind of just like rubbish. Like, it just be like anyhow. But I mean, I don't know.
But if you think about it, right? If you ask a Yoruba person to translate certain songs,
right,
it's gibberish. They're not talking about nothing. They're really not talking about nothing.
Facts,
you know what
facts.
I mean? But the thing that gets us about them is their cadence and their beats.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So they could literally ad-lib something for like a whole minute, but it's just like
the beat is like
the
fire,
beat is just sweet.
Yeah,
you know.
That's true. That's so true. I think as silent people, we just need to catch on to the trend.
No, there's some artists. There is.
Yeah. But I feel like we could be bigger. Definitely be bigger. If you had to delete all but 3 apps on your phone, what apps would you keep?
Like, what apps would I keep?
Yeah.
Like,
so you had to like just keep 3 apps on your phone.
That's it. What, like, does that include the camera too? Like, or no?
That's the whole phone. So this could be the Bible app. This could be.
Nah, don't.
We're not gonna delete the. God forgive me. We're not gonna delete the Bible app.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Anything off your phone. Anything that you can delete off of your phone.
Definitely keeping the banking app. You know, gotta keep track of the bag. Gotta keep that.
Okay.
Dang, I'm an Instagram guy. I'm not really a Twitter guy.
But you be on Twitter.
I wish I could be on Twitter, like people on Twitter, because a lot of people go viral on Twitter, but I just don't have the bandwidth to just be like, oh, let me tweet what's in my mind and like this, that, and the third, because it's just like, I'm a bad texter. If you know me personally, call me.
Yeah, I've learned that. I've learned.
If you call me, then it's just like the level of importance is like, all right, this is here. You know what I mean? And it's not to say that no text messages matter.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm always on road.
Facts.
I'm always talking to a client. I'm always trying to like network. I'm always out at like someone's function, always trying to network.
You guys need to call him.
Yeah.
So imagine now if your mom is texting you now, say, Eugene, take the meat out the freezer. You wouldn't even know. She'll come home now, the meat's in the freezer.
Nah, she calls me though. My mom knows to call me. She definitely calls me.
Explain a horror photo shoot story, like your worst photo shoot.
Oh shit.
You got a lot?
No, I'm gonna explain something. I'm gonna explain one where I was at fault, and then I'm gonna explain one where the client was at fault.
Okay.
Just to be fair.
Okay.
You know, because I'm not a saint. I'm not.
Okay.
Had a situation recently actually, and I'm not. And it's so crazy because literally on my story, I had asked my timeline, what would you do if your client was an hour late?
Oh, yeah. I remember,
and then I turned around. I had a long night the night before, and I was an hour and a half late, yo.
God don't like ugly.
It's crazy. It just came back to sender. It came back and got me for real. And I walked into like, I wouldn't even say hell on earth because that's an exaggeration, but pretty much without like saying names and giving a story, because they might watch this podcast. I don't know. They might watch it. But they had people over at their house because their birthday was coming up. Mm-hmm. So it's like during this whole time, I'm taking this dreadful walk upstairs and I'm just hearing nothing but shade, just extra. And then on top of that, the people that were just shading me downstairs, they now want to come upstairs and watch the shoot and feel like they can try to like coordinate the shoot. But I'm very like this. Yeah. When I'm working, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. If I don't ask you respectfully to like help or assist, you know, take your BTS, but please don't like feel like you can step in my way, because at the end of the day, this person paid for a service. Facts. So it's like I'm here to deliver it. I've already apologized to her 20 times. I already told her from time, you're getting a huge discount, all of that stuff. So it's like for people to feel like they can insert themselves and say, oh, this is what you need to ask for, this, that, and the third. I really wanted to look at everybody just like this, right? And tell them, are you paying for the shoot though? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you paying for the shoot though?
Right.
And it took a lot in me to just like really like hold myself together, because it's like at the end of the day, I don't need to now come into someone's house and try to project myself, especially after I already showed that like I came like late, like that late. 15 minutes late is understandable, but like hour and 30, like what's going on? You know what I'm saying? That's not fair. That's not fair to them. So realistically, like they were even like telling her, oh, don't pay the balance, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, it was an outstanding balance. I still did the work.
Right.
I still edited the photos. I still got the photos to them on time for their birthday. Right. So it's like at the end of the day, yes, there's going to be a discount, but no, I cannot do the rest of the shoot for free. That's like, I already drove like almost like 45 minutes to get to the client and then the shoot at your house. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've already extended myself as far as I can. And it's just like, as artists, you also need to be able to stand up for yourself, where it's like, yes, you're wrong, and you can admit you're wrong, and you can give a discount, but never let the customer dictate everything that they're gonna get. That's true. Because they don't know what goes into the artistry. They don't know what goes into like trying to run your own business unless they're an entrepreneur themselves. And at that point, I felt like none of her friends that were there at that moment cared. They knew, everyone knows, everyone's been late to something in their life. So like, why are you now trying to like throw all this endless shade? I'm talking about from day all the way to night, to the end of the shoot.
To thy kingdom come.
Because I had to double back, because the makeup artist had to leave and come back, right? And I had another shoot. So what we did is like, hey, the makeup artist has to come back to do your third look. Right. Let me go take care of this. I'll be right back. And there's a new set of people to throw shade at me when I came back to the house, bro. It was a new set of people. So I was just looking at them, and they were looking at me, and they were like, literally, I was outside talking to the client. They're looking from the window. Someone's coming to the door and checking up on her. She's a grown woman.
Can we get a stuck in the middle photo shoot?
Let's do it. I was just so tight. That was such a crazy way to insert that. But
just think about it.
I was just so tight. Like this, like was like the most like in recent years, because I never had these type of situations happen to me. But in recent years, that by far was just like, yo, if I see these people on the street, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did the shoot. The photos came out amazing, and she knew they were going to come out amazing. Yeah. She was happy with that. At the end of the day, leave it at that.
And that's that.
But once I'm done with my photos, don't come and disrespect me now, because I respected you at that house. After that, you know, Salon people, we don't play, bro.
He said he was sorry, so sorry. I'm begging for forgiveness. He said he was sorry, so sorry. That's that. But if he catch you in the street, that's that.
Hey, man. And a time, let's think. A time when the client was just crazy. Or I wouldn't even use the word crazy. The word is sensitive now. I'm not saying crazy, please, I beg. A time where the client was, I'll use the word nuisance. I'm going to say that.
Not nuisance.
I'm going to say nuisance.
I feel like I hear that word from my mom. Like, that word gets you.
I'm an old soul, low key. One time that, like, it was just overbearing is just the fact that when a client comes up with, like, endless excuses for why, like, we need to do this, we need to schedule this, we need to reschedule that, and they're not considering the fact that, like, you're adding on to my time and my workload, and, like, you're now making me, I have to be more available for you, but we're not talking numbers along with that, you know? And it's crazy because it's a person from the same country, you know? So it's like, I do have that leniency where it's like, I do want to, like, help us out a little bit more. Yeah. But it's like, yo, this is what I do full time. There's only so much you could do, yeah. This is what I do full time. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I buy my equipment. Camera equipment, go look it up online. See if you have fun buying that stuff. I'll show you one lens. You'll sweat. You'll sweat, for sure.
That's true. I think that just goes all back to feeling like into the entitlement that you were talking about.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's bad.
I can't. What's one misconception that people think about you all the time?
If you don't know me, you think I just have this like one tone voice. You don't think that there's a real like vibe to me. You just think I'm like a artsy fartsy person. But we get active, man.
This man said we get active.
We get active for sure.
What advice would you give someone trying to get in the photography industry?
Business is just as important as the art form. You know, you need to understand like your rights to photos. You need to be able to have like good business practice, because another thing, like to like go back into like the whole like DMV and like photographers and stuff like that, we don't really have the best name, so when you're dealing with clients, whether they're male or female clients, you have to respect these people, because it's a very vulnerable like thing that's going on, where it's like someone can't see the photo you're taking, so they're trusting you to like actually highlight them and take their photo. They're really trusting you in that situation. So to really go back and like answer that question, as far as advice, I would tell them practice good business, have excellent customer service, and read your books. YouTube University is there for you. Okay,
Google and YouTube. I'll be trying to tell people. Nobody
we're very lucky to grow up in the time that we're growing up in this digital age, for sure.
That's
true. Don't bite people's craft. Just use it and add it to your own. Try to get your own spin on things, because if you are replicating someone's work, we will catch you. We will find you.
We are quick to notice that. Be like,
what I mean?
I didn't see that on something. Yeah, that's true.
And you will get called out. So it's like, pay your homage, but like, you definitely want to like try to create your own sauce when you're doing this thing.
Right.
Just like with any art form. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
What is next for Eugene? What's next for GetBoxed? Like, what are we going to expect in?
It's a lot of things that you can expect. Hats are coming out late September.
Thank you.
We're going to be back with a date. We're thinking around the 24th. I'm not really going to say if that's the date, because I want to make sure I have a solid date. As far as like personal life, I started throwing an event called Afrobeats versus Dembow. We're on part two this Friday, August 20th.
Yes,
we're looking at the 20th on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah, so shout out to Joanna, shout out to Puerto Rico, shout out to my boy Janier, shout out to Lil Chris, shout out to my boy DJ Cero, shout out to my boy Team Yaga, Philip, to the world. Yeah, so it's a platform that we're doing where it's like we're mixing like Afro and Latina culture, because at the end of the day, like when you're looking at Hispanics, Dominicans are the closest things to closest people, not things, closest people to the diaspora.
African, yeah.
So like it's a really cool event. The first one, 2 thumbs up, and we're gonna do a 4-part series. We're even gonna get Sam I Am to DJ.
Really?
Part 4.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah,
I gotta get involved.
You be in the house.
So why does everybody keep saying that? I'm old now. I'm a homebody. I be sleeping. All right. So where can people book you? Where can we find you? How can we get a photo shoot? Because I'm really serious. Because we need to do reflex. Don't we need to have a photo shoot?
We'll get it done. We'll get it done. So www.eugenemaddy.com.
Yes, your website. Y'all, his website is fire. I was looking at it. I was like, hold on now. That's what? No, that website is fire.
Yeah, it needs to be updated, but I appreciate you though. I appreciate you for noticing the time that we took with that. GetBox _YGenoY. Different platforms, but we move.
So you don't be on Twitter. You be on Twitter, but you don't be on Twitter.
I can't say I be on Twitter. I need to be on Twitter, yeah.
Yes. You need
TikTok,
to hire somebody
all that stuff. Yeah. Even TikTok.
You don't be on
TikTok?
TikTok?
I have the app, but I haven't done nothing on the app.
So it's just different decoration.
I have to like maybe like have a social media day where it's like I sit there and like develop content, because I actually do a lot of shoots a week.
Yeah.
But you know, if I don't have someone there to like actually capture that BTS, I don't. You know.
Hire me.
Yeah. We'll talk.
I be on my phone all the time anyway.
She sounds expensive, y'all.
Yo, I'm dead. No, you sound expensive.
No, I'm not.
All right. So before we wrap this up, I always play games with my guests, right? So I try to do something different because I was like, what am I going to do with a photographer?
Right.
So this is going to be a different type of cameras edition game. So basically, I'm going to ask you to name 5 different types of cameras.
Okay.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Are we talking about brands, or are we talking about...
No, wait. So I have brands.
Uh-huh.
I have different types of cameras.
Okay.
And then different types of lenses.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So for the first one, now I did Google University also. Hopefully these things match up. Okay, so let's start. So 5 different types of cameras. So give me 5.
5 different types of cameras.
Mm-hmm. Not the brands, just the cameras.
All right. So you have medium format. You have crop censored.
Okay.
You have full frame.
Okay.
You have micro four thirds.
Wait, am I looking at the same one? Okay, because wait, on here I have DSLR cameras. I don't know. Is that?
Yeah, so that's digital single lens reflex.
Okay.
Right. And that's like what I shoot with. You have mirrorless, and then you have cameras. Yeah, exactly. You have a mirrorless camera, and then you have cameras that have mirrors in it.
Gotcha.
But as far as like what I was naming before, these are all like formats.
Okay.
So I guess like you can like consider them different types of cameras.
Gotcha. Yeah. See, I'm learning new things.
Yeah.
Did you give me 5?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to give me 5. Okay. So 5 different camera brands.
All right. We have Nikon. Shout out Nikon. Canon.
That's
Sony.
Mm-hmm.
Fujifilm.
Good job.
And we have Panasonic.
Good job. That's the ones that had come on, high 5. All right, and then the 5 different lenses.
50 millimeter, 85 millimeter, 70 to 200 millimeter, 24 to 70 millimeter, and 35
the man does his job. You know, some people come out here and they be like, yo, okay, good job. What else? What are you going to say? You going to say something else?
There's endless lenses.
No, there is endless lenses, but that's the ones that I had on here. So
that's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Okay, I learned new things. All right. So shout out to Eugene, GetBoxed, for being in the studio. See, that wasn't bad. It was good. You went well. Clap for yourself. Bim, 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 bim. Well, thank you for coming to the studio. Thank you for gracing us with your time. Like I said, this man is on the go. This man came in here with a hotel for y'all. I've been trying to collect one for the longest. This man walks in here with a big bag at that.
Just wake up on time. That's all you gotta do.
I woke up at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And the thing was in my shopping cart. By the time it said checkout, out of stock.
Now you gotta have everything plugged in for that moment, that time. I know, like, it's like skeptical to like put your information in. Mm-hmm. But you have to kind of do that at that point in time.
I'm going to take your advice. So the next time, whenever they drop. Because I don't really
because
want
9 o'clock, people are ready.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yo. Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, thank you for joining us today. And I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. And I'm going to continue to wait for my hats and my merchandise. So, you have any words for the camera?
Shout out to a couple of people, that I didn't mention, Juju with the Juice.
Juju.
Loud by Tutu, for sure. I also want to shout out Chuka LOA. I want to shout out Victoria Togo. I want to shout out Osa. I want to shout out Alvin. I want to shout out my whole team. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm building a tribe. I have a tribe around me. But very soon, a lot of the people that are behind GetBox and what you see are going to be in the forefront. So I'm looking forward to showing that to the world.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the team. And so if you guys are new, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you guys follow us on all our social media platforms. SitM Podcast on every social media. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on our YouTube. Make sure that you hit the bell for notifications so you guys know when our videos are dropping. We drop them every Sunday. And also check out our website, SitMPodcast.com, to get to cop some news merch and to see what guests we have coming up, because we got a whole calendar. We got some dope people coming in. So we literally need that. So thank you guys for tuning in, and catch you guys next week. We out. Hey everybody, this is your girl Tutu, and make sure you check out our online store so you can get some SitM merch. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you hit up all our videos. We got some dope content on the way as well. Make sure you also subscribe, hit that bell notification, and check us out because we got more in store.